Back from the break, and here at the Swedru Sports Stadium for match day 31 of the Ghana Premier League. It is 11 Wonders who are coming up against Bechem United. But we've been away for 2 weeks to make way for the MTN FA Cup and other matters arising. So once we're back, we need to give you the full complement of the fixtures that are coming up and also look at the table and how things stand at the moment, because on Sunday there's a huge potentially title deciding game at the TNA Stadium. We'll be talking about that later. But let's look at the fixtures coming up. We know that all the games, all the teams will be involved in some very serious games. For here, we know that the 11 Wonders, they would actually be coming up against Bechem United. That is one of the games. So let's have the fixtures and go through quickly, because 11 Wonders, as I said, they will be playing Bechem United in a few minutes' time. But there's Vision against Swedru All Blacks tomorrow in Accra at the Tema Park, where Vision, Swedru All Blacks would want to win the game to also avoid relegation. Mediama Baby Any Gold Stars is the headline fixture for match day 31. It will be happening at the TNA Park. Potentially, whoever wins this game could go on and win the Ghana Premier League. That game would also be live on TV3 and on your TV. There's Nations against Heart of Folk, Samatex against Baseke Holy Stars. Karela will play Young Apostles with Adriana taking on Heart of Lions. Then we have Dreams against Asante Kotoko. That is how the fixtures are looking like this weekend. I said there's Mediama against Gold Stars. It is first against second. So we'll look at the table very shortly, but this is the second part of the table where we have the likes of 11. Well, the first part has Mediama on top with 53 points. Baby Any Gold Stars are second with 51. And Heart to Folk have the opportunity of climbing up if they beat Nations FC, but they are third with 46 points. Adriana have a 45 and are fourth. Samatex, they are fifth with 44 points. Asante Kotoko have dropped to sit on the table with 43. Karela are seventh at the moment with 42 points. Dreams have 40 and Baseke Holy Stars also have 40. That is the top half of the table. The bottom half of the table is where we have 11 Wonders who have already been relegated, together with Ho United, who have pulled out of the Ghana Premier League. Bechem Chelsea are 16th at the moment, and things are not looking good for them. For Bechem United, they are still in the relegation dogfight and will need to kick themselves out. Coach Andy Sinison, Nana Andy Sinison. The Nana is very important. You need to bring the Nana. Nana, I mean, good to have you back on the Ghana Premier League. This is a league that you know very well. You've been with Great Olympics and Swatraman. You've been with Elmina Sharks and all these clubs. Looking at 11 Wonders and the woes that they are going through, there are two schools of thought. One school of thought believes that they don't have enough Premier League proven players. That is why they've been relegated. Another believes that not playing at their favorite Techiman grounds and coming to Accra caused them. Which of these two factors do you side with?
I think both work like we are all saying, because they came into the league and everybody was thinking they will be playing their games down there in Techiman. By the time we see anything...
Does it really matter?
Normally, you know, playing in Division 1, where you play, that is what you have, your support base, and the number 12 is always important in the game. So once they lost their number 12 in the game, it cost them. And that is what is causing them. And they were not stationary, because today they are here, tomorrow they are there. And when it happens like that, it makes things difficult for you to, you know, gain grounds and make sure you're doing something. Because they were once here in Swedru and they left. Yeah. And they came back again. But because if they had been here throughout the season, maybe something could have changed. But nobody knows the reason why they left and they are now back here. You have coached in the Ghana Premier League before. What is so unique about playing games in your traditional home or your favorite grounds? You know, every team has his way of doing things, and when you have your number 12 behind you, it makes the game different from when you don't have them, because the supporters are the ones that, you know, when things get to worse, maybe they will cheer you up, but instead of you getting cheers from the supporters, you will be getting boos and other stuff, and that doesn't, you know, go well with certain teams. And you know, the buhaha behind 11 Wise from the change of ownership from
11 Wonders, right, you mean?
11 Wonders, you know, the buhaha was too much, and that is
they are no longer known as Techima 11. It's just 11 Wonders.
That is what has caused the team.
And in terms of the quality, I mean, you've been a coach in the Ghana Premier League before. Looking at their team, do you think they had enough
You know, when a team comes to the Premiership, the first thing I know, you need to look at the spine of the team. When you talk about the spine of a team, meaning you need to have an experienced goalkeeper. That is one. You have a good centre back who is very good. Then you have two wingers and have an attacker. They shouldn't be players that they will come and sit on the bench. They have to be players that will be playing regularly. But when they qualify, they thought those that qualify the team can play, and that is what is causing them.
Is their situation similar to Legon Cities when they metamorphosed from Wow Stars to Legon Cities coming to Accra and also being relegated?
It's the same thing that happened because Legon Cities came. They even did well, I think, the first season.
Yeah.
Before the second season, you know, they were booted out of the league. By this one, they just came and they are going back.
I mean, someone would say because you are a coach, you're a manager, you're trying to exonerate the managers from the issue. They started with J.E. Sapo. They started with Odate Lamte, J.E. Sapo, now Emmanuel Edu. Would you for these three coaches as not having enough to be able to sustain the club? For Odate Lamte, many say that he didn't have any Premier League experience. For J.E. Sapo, others say he's been out for over a decade, and Emmanuel do not have any experience as well.
My brother, when things happen like this, you don't have to look at the technical aspect alone. You have to go and look at the management aspect as well. Because, you know, those who are managing the team, how are they managing it? Because when there's problem in a team, you can't only talk about the technical side or the player side because, you know, both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is very important in the game. And when you don't get those motivation, it makes things, you know, go the way you don't want it.
Motivation low for 11 Wonders, and it's the reason why they are currently going down. But they would keep fighting. Both coaches have been at the venue. We've spoken to them. Kobene Misa says there will be pressure on his Bechem United side to win this game. For Emmanuel Edu, the motivation for the players is that they should keep going. Another match day here, about 5 games to go. The damage has already been done. 11 Wonders are going down. But you're coming up against a team that is battling to survive. Do you think the pressure would be on them this afternoon?
Certainly, yes, because we are bearing no pressure as at now, but we are still competing, yes. So we are really prepared for the game, as it stands right now. Yeah.
Now I know you are in a very tough situation, but what is the motivation for these players who come out every week to play?
Yeah, the motive, it has always been like that because, like I've always said, we are not the first team to go to relegation and will not be the last. And since this is not the end of our football career, so we need to persist and then prepare for, you understand me, the next season. Yeah. So this moment serves like the major transition for us. So we are we are good to go. Yeah.
And in terms of how you know Bechem United and how this game would go this afternoon, do you think you can cause an upset?
We are prepared and we are coming to play. We went there, we lost 1-0, and I don't want to talk about whatever happened there, but then we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Coach, wish you the very best.
Thanks so much.
Coach, it's another mad day here at the Swedru Sports Stadium. We are coming up against a team that is more or less relegated. Does that make it difficult? Because it looks like the pressure would be on you rather.
You are right. This reminds me of Shaq and the same 11 Wonders. That time Shaq was going to relegation and we were playing 11 Wonders and they underrated us and we were able to beat them. So this match is very important for us because we were also struggling for the relegation. We are part of teams that are struggling for the relegation. So we are not going to relax on this particular game. Very, very important match for us.
In recent weeks, we've seen that you've been able to pick up the results, especially that famous win against Samatex. How important would this be for your survival if you beat them here?
Yes, going to Samatex, what we did and got the points is exactly what we did this week toward this game, because we all realized that Samatex was the game that if we have lost that game, by this time we were also struggling for the relegation. But we were determined, prepared well. All our training sessions were based on what we want to do. And this is exactly what we did this week. So I believe this week we are going to have a very good game and we are going to get that 3 points.
Thank you very much, Coach.
You are welcome.
Coach Kobina Emisa, head coach of Bechem United. Now, Coach, it looks like any team that plays 11 Wonders feel that they must get the 3 points at all costs. But Kobina Emisa is saying that the pressure today would be on his team rather than 11 Wonders.
Yeah, it could be because, he is also not sitting very well on the league table. The league log, you could see that Bechem are also not sitting well on the league log. So that's the reason why he's saying that, because when it happens like that, the players who want to score goals, they will be in a haste in doing things.
Is it because 11 Wonders have been relegated, so they have nothing to
they have nothing to lose and have nothing to play for, but the players have something to play for.
Which is?
Because you have to play well so that you can get another team. And this one is a live game.
Okay.
So when you are playing these games, maybe somebody will spot you.
Okay.
It might not be that the players are not good.
So relegation is not the end?
No. Relegation
for
is
a
not
player?
the end. No, not at all. Because from here, maybe a team can see, because I know even after the first round, a player from their team came to All Blacks.
Yeah.
So
and their captain was in demand.
You see, so another player can have that opportunity. So it's not just that because they are relegation bound, the team will just be relegated. No, and the players can also get some teams and go there. Some team will also see you and give you an opportunity. So they should play and play well for themselves.
Now, if you are talking about Bechem United, there's one player you cannot go without talking about. Augustine Okra. You know him very well. I mean, one of the most experienced players. Recently, he was part of the Black Galaxies team in camp. How important has he been to Bechem United's cause this season?
Okra is someone, anytime he goes out there and he comes back, he comes back to Bechem.
Yeah.
Because he knows what he can do for Bechem, and he knows what Bechem has also done for him. And when you talk about Okra, if he's in the team, motivation-wise, he knows how to talk to his boys. He knows when and how to approach games. If he's in the team, he's a real motivator to the players and the coaches as well. Because the coaches might be on the bench, but on the field, he is a coach, and at the same time, he's a player. And he scores goals at ease, give him 3 or 4 opportunities.
How important are players like Okra? Because you talked about the fact that he's like a coach on the pitch and also a player. How important are players like that? And have you had a player in that bread the time you were?
Yes, because when I was with Bechem United, I have coached Bechem in Premiership when they qualified first, because I was there with, I think, Milislav Bogdanovic. When he left, I was the one who took over. And then I had Peter Oforukwe in my team.
Oh, really?
I had Peter Oforukwe during those days. Peter was playing for me. And Peter was like, a coach, because every instruction that I needed to give, at times I'll tell Peter, when it get to this stage, do this for me. Because at times they will be on the phone, you call them and they will even, not hear you, or at times they will pretend as if they are listening to what you are saying. But footballers at times, maybe what you are saying, he doesn't understand. But instead of him saying something, he will be saying, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. But at the end of the day, you will not get what you want. So at times, I use Peter as a decoy in the team, and he will be doing the coaching stuff.
When it happens like that, is it not rather the player doing your job for you?
He's not.
Because it looks like some players command more respect from their colleagues than even the coaches.
What we were doing at the time, Peter will come out and Peter, do this. So, and Peter will just obey by the instructions, and he will do what I want him to do. That doesn't mean I don't know my job. I know my job. But when they are playing, if the player is somewhere in front of goal and you are out there, you can't even shout instruction to him. But he can just, arrange them well. Senior players are always important in a team.
Okay, very important in the team, and we'll be looking at a number of issues confronting 11 Wonders, and also look at why Bechem United are currently in this situation. But let's go back and look at the fixtures again, because I've told you this is not the only game that will be played in a match, the 31 of the Ghana Premier League. Today, in a few minutes' time, it is 11 Wonders who will come up against Bechem United. There's Vision against All Blacks tomorrow in Accra. That game will be played in Tema. Then Mediema will come up against BBN Gold Stars. Sunday, a title deciding game at the TNA Stadium. There's Nations against Hartlepool at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex, and Samatex at home would also be hosting their regional rivals, that is Baseke Holy Stars. Karela United at the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium, they will be taking on Young Apostles, with Ediana also facing Heart of Lions, and Dreams FC will take on Asante Kotoko. So that is what is happening, and the table, as I said, getting interesting. But let's look at the form guide of the two teams that will be playing this afternoon: 11 Wonders and Bechem United. 14 games played by 11 Wonders. They've won just 2 of those 14, drawn 2 and lost 10 in the process. Scored 10 goals and conceded a whooping 25. For Bechem United, 13 games played, and they've also played away, and they've also won just 1. Drawn 2 of the games, lost 10 and conceded 10, but they've been able to score 27 goals in the process. But Coach, Bechem United used to be a side that had a lot of quality, but this time it looks like that quality is gone a bit. Just 1 win away from home isn't good enough.
Yeah, I think it's not good enough because Bechem, as we all know, and how Bechem play their games and how they started the league. But this season, you could see that they lost most of their players, and the players that they lost has also affected the team. So that's the reason why Bechem are not performing like we used to know Bechem United, because Bechem United playing 13 games and winning 1 away is not Bechem United that we all know.
Coach, I've always wanted to ask you this question. How is it difficult to coach in the Ghana Premier League? Because I asked Kasim Mengo, and he tells me that it's one of the most difficult levels because you don't just do coaching, you have to develop players as well. Instead of just doing your tactics and system, you have to add development to your game. Is it difficult coaching in the Ghana Premier League?
It's very difficult.
What makes it that difficult?
It's difficult because the players that, when you qualify a team, you as a coach, maybe you need certain players into your team, and maybe if you are not lucky, you will not get them. And how do we call that? Administrator that also have the team will think about maybe grooming young players for the future. So it makes the whole thing, it's something else. There are teams, when you are coaching, they will give you players, but most especially the difficult ways comes to the teams the younger teams that are in the elite. Because they have the problem. Because when they come, they want to recruit young players and they don't want senior players, and that is also something that makes it very difficult for us.
And in terms of the pressure handling a Ghana Premier League team, I mean, the pressure doesn't get any bigger than Great Olympics. You were there. You were there. Sometimes does this kind of pressure contribute to a coach not succeeding at a club?
Agosu is one. Agosu is one team.
There's no team that has a lot of pressure than coaching Great Olympics.
The way they have their accolades is the same thing they have their pressure. Yeah. Because when you are there with Agosu, you see so many things. Because on the field of play, our days, I think we were training at Kajano. And if you are at Kajano, those guys will come, and the things that they will bring to you when you are coaching there, if you are not a strong person and if you are not ready for the game, to be very difficult for you in coaching Accra Great Olympics. Because at times they will bump themselves onto the pitch, and they will ask the coach to move out from the pitch because they could see that Akene coachy Oli.
I mean, that is Great Olympics for you. The pressure would always be enormous. Great Olympics are starting to have the same amount of pressure. We've talked about the relegation fight a bit. I mean, 11 Wonders gone, Ho United gone, but there are teams that are still in the mix, as you saw on the table. Swedro Blacks, who play here, are in there. There's Bechem United are still in danger. The likes of Vision. With all these teams, which team do you see likely to face the drop if they don't do things well in their last 5 games?
Bro, seriously, you can't predict any team. You can't say this team should go because those that are down there, the points margin.
It's just 1 point.
It's just 1 point, 1 point.
Yeah.
So all of them need to work hard, extra hard. For the 2, we know they are gone. But the 3rd team that will come and add up to be difficult. A gunner is also another thing.
Now let's talk about the top of the table. That is where things are boiling. As it stands, it looks like it's a 2-horse race between Mediema, Baby, and Gold Stars. 2 points separating them at this point. With what you've seen so far, who do you think would actually cross that finish line?
I think if we look at what is happening this weekend, then we can say Mediema has the edge because they are playing at home.
Yeah.
And Mediama played, I think, some 5 games that they didn't even win a game.
They went about 6 games without a win.
Yeah, they played about 6 games and they didn't win a game. So this time around, score and come and be on top of the league is something that they have to, whatever that will take them to do that, they have to do that to, remain on top of the league. If they are not able to do this and, anything happens, then Gold Stars will go again and win the league.
Heart of Folk are third at the moment. Their fans are saying that if they had converted some of the draws they played into wins, they would have been up there. Masoud Didi Dramani has taken over the team. How would you rate his season so far?
No, Didier took over the team. Heart of Folk that we all know. The last 2 seasons hasn't been a good season for them, but he has. He has the team this season, and look at where they are sitting on the table. So, meaning if we stop pushing coaches out from a team every season, and then we are seeing some positives in Masoud Didi Dramani's job that he's doing at the moment. Meaning next season, House of Folk will do better than they are doing now.
I mean, if you go to the Accra Sports Stadium or the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, there's always that debate about Masoud Didi Dramani. There are section of the Heart of Folk fans who believe that he did it because Heart of Folk have a transfer ban. He didn't get the luxury of buying a striker that could bump in and score the goals for him. And there are those who also feel that he has about 4 strikers and he failed to develop them. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, like we were all talking earlier on, developing is what at times causes us when we are doing this premiership games, because at times you need to get somebody who is out and doing that can do the job for you. Most of the times when you have those players, you develop them, but when they get onto the field, what they do is different from what you are anticipating from them. So Masoud, for me, if you ask me and the listeners, I will tell you that he has done his bit, because House of Folk last season, they were nothing to write home about.
If you were part of the management, would you retain Masoud Didi Dramani
I will.
for next season?
I will.
Even if he doesn't win the Ghana Premier League,
I will.
which looks like he won't.
He won't, but I will.
Why?
Because if I look at House of Folk for the last 2 seasons and I look at this season, they are getting better than they were last 2 seasons. And
Okay. That is Heart of Folk.
Yeah, that's
Let's talk about Kotoko. What do you think has caused them this season?
Kotoko's predicament is their own predicament.
I mean, they started with Karim Zito, then Prince Yaousu came in, then they are finishing the season with Hamza Obey. Who knows whether Hamza Obey would also finish the last 5 games. But looking at the Kotoko team and the quality that they have, what do you think went wrong for them?
The day that they pushed Karim Zito out of the team, that was the day that...
But they felt results were not forthcoming.
And when he was not having the one that came, what happened? It was worse. It was worse because he has done his recruitment, and Karim Zito was doing well, although it wasn't that well. But when they pushed him out, the one who took over couldn't, do what Zito was doing. So I don't think it was necessary for them to push him out in the first place. So
you think the exit of Karim Zito actually caused
that has caused them? Look at where they are sitting now on the table.
Kotoko,
that is a fact.
Really? But Karim Zito, guess what? He joined Ash Gold 04, not Ashanti Gold SC, Ash Gold 04, and they've secured qualification to the Premier League. So next season, we would actually be visiting the Linkley Stadium. Ash Gold 04, we'll be talking about them. But let's take a quick breather here. We're still waiting for that game to kick off here at the Swedru Sports Stadium. 11 Wonders, they are coming up against Bechem United. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back from that break. You're still watching the Ghana Premier League here on TV3 and on UAT TV as well. Here at the Swedro Sports Stadium, 11 Wonders coming up against Bechem United. Coach, final words before we join the action. 11 Wonders, the coach said that there's no pressure on them and they'll come and deliver. Who do you think will take the first half?
I think between myself and you, they are just entering the how do we call the dressing room, and I don't think they will have time to warm up. So if Bechem has anything doing, then the first 15 minutes they have to take the game on them and make sure they get some 2 goals and do their own thing in the second half.
11 Wonders, a club full of wonders. Let's see if they will conjure some wonders here. They are coming up against Bechem United. I'll hand you over to our team of commentators, Nana Dakwa Jesse and of course Josiah Okokwe. See you after the first 45 minutes.
It's Friday kickoff at the Swedro Stadium as the Ghana Premier League return after a 2-week break following the semi-final games in the FA Cup and the demise of Bechem Chelsea forward Dominic Frimpong over the last 2 weeks. We are back in action for the remaining games in the Ghanaian top flight, with Bechem United aiming to avoid relegation in this game against already relegated 11 Wonders. We are live from the Swedro Sports Stadium, scorchy sun on 33 degrees Celsius here. My name is Nana Dakwa Jesse, together with Josiah Okokwe, who are your commentators for this game here in Swedro.
Yeah, good afternoon. And it feels good to be back. It feels good to have the Ghana Premier League back, especially with the last 5 games of the season set to happen over the next couple of weeks. And this certainly should be a mouth-watering one. 11 Wonders, yeah, they have been condemned to the Division 1 for next season. But you talk about Bechem United, who are still trying and working their way out of danger. Currently, they are not all that safe. They are not entirely safe. You'd say the atmosphere, the ambience is quite okay for this game. And certainly, I just can't wait to see to the commencement of this particular one. It should be a blockbuster here in Sweden.
On behalf of all of us at Adesa Productions, we wish all workers across the globe an happy International Workers' Day. Today marks the day to celebrate workers globally, and we're excited to be here in Swedro to bring to you this live game here in the Ghana Premier League. For 11 Wonders, it's just about enjoying themselves, and players expecting to attract interest from willing and able clubs who would want to revamp their squads for the new season. It's just about turning up, showing up, and playing in the games, knowing very well that even if they win the remaining games in the Premier League, they will still go to relegation. 11 Wonders.
Yeah, that's a given. They're going down, but at this point, so collectively as a club, there's nothing to play for. But individually, these players deep down know the essence of turning up in such games against a team like Bechem United. You'd always want to prove a point, and I think that's why the stakes certainly will be high for them.
The last Premier League game for 11 Wonders was against Dreams FC at the Tuba AstroTurf. They were pummeled in a game they considered 5 times and responded only once. Bechem United are coming into this game after holding the current league leaders Mediama Sporting Club to a 1-1 drawn game in Bechem, with Augustin Okra getting that goal for Bechem United. They are bent on staying in the top flight, with some tricky games remaining in the Premier League for them. After this game, they welcome Dreams to Bechem. They return to Swedro in a week's time to play against All Blacks in a potential relegation decider. They have another home game against Kotoko, and they wrap up their season in a regional derby against Bechem Chelsea. So there's all to play for, and they've got their job cut out for them, Bechem United.
Yeah, and that's why you just can't take your eye off this game, because, like I said, 11 Wonders as a team, they are down, but the players have got quite a lot to play for. And then also you're looking at Bechem United, who'll be returning to this pitch in the next couple of weeks again. So would really be important for them, to try and exploit everything here today against an already relegated side, hoping that they can pick some clues heading to their game against Swedro Blacks here.
stepped onto the pitch already. Augustine Okra is leading Bechem United in their dominant lemon green jerseys. 11 Wonders in blue and red strips here in Swedro, a venue they adopted after leaving the University of Ghana Sports Stadium and the Accra Sports Stadium. They've equally played at the Niaje Kraku Park in Tamanoutam. They shuffled around venues this season, but 11 Wonders.
It's not helped them. It's not really done them any good, but they'll really be counting on this chap there, Ralph Muna, to get them the goals today. And, you talk about the fact that, they've had an awful season, but individually they've really, had some good players. You talk about their captain, Frank Awere, who had to leave, for All Blacks, and even Muna, who scored twice against Basakoli Stars, this season. It tells you there's still some quality in there, for 11 Wonders.
The last time these two teams met in the Premier League back in Bechem was United, who got the better of 11 Wonders, beating them by 1-0 through a 74-minute penalty that was expertly converted by Augustine Mensah, aiming to do the double and most importantly keep their relegation survival chances alive here at the Swedro Stadium. That's the 11 Wonders starting lineup for this afternoon's game. They have goalkeeper Obinfue J in post. At right back is Jibril Mohammed. Desmond the Champion is at left back. In central defense is the ever-present Edmond Afurapo and Kenneth Owusu-Boakye. Desmond Tete and Ahmed Issa play in the pivotal midfield role with Ampon Sena Samoa on the wings. Ewula and Muna leading the attack for Wonders this afternoon.
Yeah, looks like a 4-4-2 there, but could morph into a 4-2-3-1. And you have Ewula supporting Muna. Ewula will be playing in that hole, and if you talk about Muna getting the goals for Wonders, then that creator in the hole they will be counting on, to give those defense splitting passes. The incisive passes will be Angel Ewula. He's really been a playmaker for them all season.
One season wonder for 11 Wonders. They only qualified for the Premier League this season when they emerged tops from Zone 1. But it's a rather quick return to Division 1 for 11 Wonders. The realities of the Premier League hitting them so hard. Angela Ewula stepped in, but his captain has taken that responsibility. Emmanuel Boateng, not on the official team sheet, but has showed up to take charge of the pre-match formalities. Foster Bashos is our centre man for this afternoon. He's assisted by Alex Osam and then Mary Tay. Our fourth referee is Retan Kansa Boateng. Our match commissioner for this afternoon is Onisimos Niajiri. This is the Bechem United lineup for this game here in Swedro. Emmanuel Enin in post. At right back is Samuel Atugba. Foster Jemfi at left back. Derek Etefrie and Boat Regan in central defense. In midfield is Richard Jamna, Kofi Tompo and Emmanuel Sefa. There's a three-man midfield of Arno, Yosin and Augustine Okra.
Quite a packed midfield, but then also they'll be playing with some variations, especially on the offensive. It would be a 4-1-2-3. You have Sefa Tumpo playing as two number 10s right behind Yosin Okra and Jawano. And it really looks like an attacking, formation, attacking setup by Bechem United. They know the importance of this game. They know how critical winning this game would be to their Premier League, survival chances.
The Hunters in town for maximum points against the already relegated 11 Wonders, but there's a saying that he that is down fears no fall. Exactly the approach they want to go into this game with. They want to walk away from the Premier League with some pride. These boys from Wonders.
And that's why you talk about the fact that as a team, they're already down, but individually, you wouldn't say that for most of these players. There's still quality in there. You watch them week in, week out, and you appreciate the quality, they have.
Foster Barrios gets us ready for kickoff here in Suedo. It's Friday kickoff in the Ghana Premier League, and 11 Wonders gets us going for this matchday 31 fixture in the Ghanaian top flight. 11 Wonders versus Bechem United. In. Here's Regan. Bechem United in control. Jamina. A free air. Good ball. Gets to no crowd. Good at control. But unable to get to his man. Chance for Bechem United. Ball is cleared away for the first corner of the afternoon, going the way of Bechem United.
Yeah, just 1 minute into the game, but it looks as if the Wonders defense looks a bit jittery. Half clearances there. You could see, Tom Poe nearly pouncing on that loose ball for a second.
Bechem corner. Emmanuel Sefa bends one to the near post. And is the opening goal for Bechem United. Under 2 minutes, and Bechem United in the lead here at the Suedo Stadium. Augustine Okra once again proving to be the main man to be counted on in difficult times. Okra puts Bechem United ahead very, very early in this game.
Certainly, poor defense there. Some poor defending by 11 Wonders. Not the best. We spoke about the fact that already under 1 minute they look jittery, but just look at that. And he needed some luck over there. Just went through his legs, but unfortunately clips, the inside of the left foot, and it looks everyone at that point. Just look at that. But then he was onside, and that is just a fortunate goal for Augustine Okra.
Lovely little flick, aided by some luck. Hans Augustine Okra, his 12th goal of the season. 25 games, 12 goals for Augustine Okra. Very impressive statistics for the journeyman Okra.
That puts him at par with the league top scorer now. And if he's aiming to win the golden boots, then perhaps that's the game for him to grab a couple more.
He's already won top scorer in the Ghanaian top flight with Bechem United during his previous stints with the club, and he seems to be enjoying one of his best seasons with the Hunters in this current campaign. Okra, he's been the pivot around which everything has revolved in this United setup. Okra. Good play from Atugba. Foster Jemfi to Emmanuel Sefa. Regan. Okra. Lost possession. Here is Desmond Champon. He's looking for Asamoah. Flag goes up and Asamoah is offside.
A good call, like on the left-hand side, left alone, but it just took off too fast, too swiftly, and it was good play by the defense of Bechem United. We should also expect they'll be playing with a highlight, for majority of the game, due to the fact that you don't see that sharpness in Wonders, and you don't expect their front line to press so high.
Atugba on the chase for the ball on the right side. He sends in a first-time cross, and is blocked by the Wonders goalkeeper, Obinfo Ejay, without any problems. Hardy Obinfo. will be looking back at that goal conceded and asking himself how his defender allowed Okra to have access to that loose ball to pick up the opening goal. A champion back to Hardy Obenfo. As a poor pass is intercepted by Atugba, but he can't keep it in place. A throw into 11 Wonders.
Yeah, and we could see Bechem score a lot more if Wonders, would continue like this throughout the game. It's already 5 minutes and we've not really seen anything promising from them, in every department of the game. Talking about the offense, the defense as well. They've been dominated in midfield by Bechem United. Perhaps something needs to change now at this point, else they could be, a drubbing here this afternoon.
Jemfi. Here is Emmanuel Seifa trying to pick up Atugba. Final touch came off Atugba. Referee decides against a Bechem advantage. Asamoah stayed onside but had to be caught in the trap by his own movement. That's a clumsy challenge. It's a foul.
And that's not what he expected from Angela Wooler, playing in that number 10 position. You're expecting him to get onto the ball often, try to make something work, going forward for 11 Wonders. But already the frustration could set in.
Also Boacheto, Desmond Champon. Ewula. Wonders win back possession. Desmond Tete unable to control the ball. Here is Seifa, now a guest in Okra for Bechem United, the goal scorer, looking for options. He finds one in Jemfi. Here is Foster Jemfi. Now Yawana will take charge, swings in across. Okra is lurking, flicked away by Boache, and a champion returns it to the goalkeeper. He handles it. No qualms about that.
Yeah, for a second, there were some protests from the Bechem United players asking for an indirect free kick or anything at all, but the referee having none of that.
Muna. Ralph Muna with some good movement right there. He goes down just before the eyes of the referee. He doesn't think there's anything in that one for the Wonders attacker. Just waiting for that whistle from the referee to gain the advantage, Ralph Muna. What regain? Foster Jemfi. Kofi Tompo wins the decision for Bechem United.
A bit robust by Kenneth Boachiosu, who just obstructs Kofi Tompo. Just moves, tries to block him, and it's really been a very long season for Wonders. And at this point, you'd say, yeah, they are playing games in the Premier League, but they are also thinking and planning live in the Division 1 for next season. They might want an immediate return back to the top flight. Already you can feel that mentally they've just not been there to play games.
A champion Boateng, a champion. One of the brightest spots in this 11 Wonders team, the captain and number 10, Emmanuel Boateng. I'm sure he's going to be the subject of transfer talk when the season comes to an end. Even before the second transfer window opened, a lot of clubs inquired about his availability, but Wonders kept the asking price above what could be offered by these clubs. But I'm sure now they are down from the top flight, they'll be willing to do business when the right price comes.
Yeah, perhaps he's been one of the best players, throughout the season, even though, the team hasn't really lived up to expectations.
Angel Ewula down the left-hand side. Here is Asamoah. Swings in one, and that's awful. Poor delivery from Aiden Asamoah.
It's been by far the sharpest in the Wonders team, and at that point you're expecting him to do better. He had Angela Wooler waiting right on the edge of the penalty box, and again just wanted to try something audacious, the leg over, and that was just atrocious. You look at that finishing, there was no way. He was just hitting the back of the net with that.
Augustine Okra to Atugba, not on the same page with the right back. Also watch his delivery gone wayward.
He doesn't really look a happy man. Kofi Asamoah, he's really been lacking on the left-hand side, hoping that he would at least stay on side, and one good ball will be delivered into the channel, but he's not really had that so far in this game. He's been the fastest, the sharpest, of all the players of 11 Wonders.
Anoto Seifa. Lovely play from Emmanuel Seifa. But it gives possession away. Referee thinks there was so much in that tackle by Angela Wooler on Emmanuel Seifa. I think he's going to be the first player to get the yellow card, Angela Wooler, for that clumsy challenge on Emmanuel Seifa.
Whoa. And I think, Foster Bashos just runs out of patience. And I think that was the right call. It was a bit clumsy. It was late on Seifa. It's the second time in the space of 5 minutes he has actually committed a foul. And the first one, Foster Bashos had to send a word of caution, but this time he just had to flash the yellow card. Wooler needs to be calm now. A lot is expected of him, in that number 10 position, playing right behind Muna.
It's getting a bit clumsy. Another poor challenge from Desmond Tete. This time it will be a verbal caution by Foster Bashos, having issued a yellow card a few seconds ago. Reagan's ball to Foster Gemfi. He's unable to control as he rolls out for a throw into 11 Wonders.
And I think Wonders are paying the price for not being sharp enough. And you can see it's so telling with the way that they've rather conceded possession to Bechem United.
Tete with a lovely ball looking for Asamoah, and it's a good tackle by Atugba. Well read, well calculated. Foster Gemfi making the needed contact with shouts coming from the stance of a penalty, but nowhere near that.
Yeah, and there's so much freedom, there's so much space for the Bechem United defense to operate now. There's no pressure whatsoever. And for Wonders, they're not even pressing, not even trying to win the ball in the offensive third.
Regain. Atugba on the right side, unable to keep the ball in. Efria loses possession, but he recovers in time to find Jemfi. He comes under pressure and finds the central midfielder, Dramina. Safer to Atugba. Trying to exploit that space on the left-hand side of the Wanderers defense, but that's a very poor cross coming from Atugba.
Yeah, that's just bad from him. He's had so much space up front. No one there had enough time as well to send in a quality ball. You could see about 2, 3, 4 Bechem United players trying to attack that one. All they needed was a decent ball. Again, the high line of Bechem United really causing so much problems to 11 Wonders. They're trying to, soak the pressure. They're trying to go with the long balls, but I think it's been smart defending so far. The traps, have really been set well by the Bechem United defense.
Safer pounces on the loose ball, trying to go into the box, but Moses Tete gets it away. Desmond Tete. Pressure from Okra. That's what to gain control. Switches to Angela Woola, waiting for the flag to stay down, but eventually goes up. Is an offside against Angela Woola.
And that's the 5th time in 17 minutes. Wonders, have been flagged offside again. Just miles away from the last Bechem United defender. If they should play this way throughout this game, it wouldn't really help them. Perhaps something needs to change for them. You look at them and it looks like the fastest players are the players playing, at the wide areas.
Here's Asamoah up against Atugba, checks onto it. Boateng cuts back. Efria goes in for it. Wonders had a man down in the Bechem United box, but Foster Bash was not interested.
But then the shouts for a penalty.
Asamoah goes down this time. Foster Bashos whistles for a Wonders free kick. They seem to be stepping up and really coming into the game from the last 2 minutes, 11 Wonders.
Yes, Ali, but then that was that initial ball again. Boateng, does well to play there, goes through the legs of the defenders. I don't think there was contact made there. Yeah, he was sandwiching between two defenders, but you asked for clear contact and none was there, none. And I think Foster Bashos wasn't within close proximity to see that and just wave off the appeals.
A champion delivers. Away by Tompo. Tete. Aiming at the champion. That's what to pick him up. Good turn by Asamoah. Timely clearance from Atugba for a Wonders corner.
And that's all they've tried to do now. They've pinned Bechem United to their own penalty area, and they are really enjoying a brief spell of possession. The entire game we've not really seen them on the ascendancy, and now they've really been dangerous.
Corner taken. No problems for Emmanuel Ainin in post for United. Here is Yawano. His elder brother also played for Bechem United. Made a big name for himself before moving to Ashanti Gold. And only a few years ago decided to switch and play for the Togolese national team, following consistent snub by the Ghanaian selectors. Wondering whether his younger brother will follow the path his elder brother, took to play for the Hawks of Togo. Angela Wula. A Champon, Asamoah Ewula. Flag stays down. He can still go forward, but eventually Bashaw's whistles. Did he get it right from the beginning? Well.
Yeah, it was from the second assistant referee. You know, it delayed a bit. Everyone was expecting it. The player himself was contemplating. You could see the stops in the run he was making at that point, but it's been the same story throughout. But I think he made that run from an onside position, and perhaps it was as a result of the ball going out of play and not really the flag going up for an offside.
A Champon's cross. Ewula. Tete. Loses out. Here is Kofi Tompo. Regan looking for Okra. Okra has beaten Kenneth Owusu-Boakye to it. Lays one onto the path of his forward partner. Tompo looking for Ano. Flag is up against Ano for offside.
He had to move from an offside position. Yeah, right call. Just a fraction offside there. Yawano, who was on the move, and mad sometimes. Not too much physicality, but trying to set those traps where if you move too early, then perhaps you would be caught offside.
Now we were very clear for another offside. 11 Wonders trail Bechem United on 22 minutes by a lone goal scored by Augustine Okra. So there you see him drifting all alone. That's a wide gap for an offside trap.
Yeah, but it's still the game plan. It's not changed for 11 Wonders. You speak about the fact that they look a bit rusty. I don't know if for 2 weeks, without playing Premier League football has really affected them. But they look a bit off the pace, and the only players making the runs are Kofi Asamoah and then Amponsa on either flank.
There's Kenneth Boakye. 11 Wonders have conceded 54 goals so far in the Premier League. They've scored only 17. They've got the weakest defense in the Premier League. And they've also scored the least number of goals in the Ghanaian top flight this term. 11 Wonders. 1 draw and 4 defeats, with 3 successive home defeats in their last 5 games in the Ghanaian Premier League. There's not been a positive story to write on their return to the Premier League this season. 11 Wonders. They need to go back, regather, regroup, re-strategize, and think about a possible return to the top flight. But they've got to do a lot of work in Zone 1B, where they originally came from the Division 1.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's the most difficult thing to do, for any team.
Just 10 points so far for them this season. Here is Augustine Okra to Atugba. It's obvious Atugba wants a corner. Ewula. This promising from 11 Wonders. Now here is Asamoah. He's got Ralph Muna in the middle. Asamoah turns to Ralph Muna, but he's unable to control the ball as it falls to goalkeeper Emmanuel Enin. Unlucky Muna.
Yeah, just unlucky. He was trying to make that first touch, with the left foot, just trying to open himself up a bit. But it was a lovely skill, and just look at that, trying to stay on side. Yeah, he was being policed there, by Freer, but he was just so unlucky. The flight of that ball, the weight of it, I think he just didn't anticipate it rightly.
Desmond Tete switches to Asamoah with such a brilliant control by Edin Kofi Asamoah. Lovely skill, but he has no support. Goes down. Not too much in that one for a foul. Kofi Tompo charge forward for Bechem United. Tompo tries to lay one for Imano Ano, but there's so much weight on that pass for Ano to get to it.
Yeah, it's just too heavy. And, you know, you talk about both teams on the ascendancy, and I think there's been so much spaces to be exploited. And that's a two-bar down on the turf.
Bechem United's right back Samuel Atugba has gone down, and the medical team will respond to him as the Wonders players take the advantage to pick up some instructions from head coach Emmanuel Edu. Edu's job will be difficult, knowing too well that no matter what you do, these guys will play in the Division 1 next season. What could be the motivation? What could be spurring them on in games like this?
And that's why he deserves so much, you know, commendation for what he's doing, you know, keeping that energy each time he's in the dugout. You could feel, you know, that verve, the energy, you know, to give instructions and still go out there and win games. And I think the players respect him for that. He didn't start the season with them, but he gave them their first win, and after that they won again. And, you know, they've really had some memorable times.
I thought the cooling break wasn't over, but game is quickly started, and Wonders nearly taking advantage of Bechem United unattentiveness.
Yeah, there's no time to waste for them. They know they need, you know, to claw back some pride. You're down, and it's just a slim margin. It's just 1-0, and anything can happen.
Angel Ewula, he's got Enin to beat. Enin is committed himself, but Ewula unable to take advantage. Here is Asamoah. He's up against Atugba. Goal kick, clever defending by Samuel Atugba.
Oh, now finding the open spaces, 11 Wonders down the left-hand side, and, you know, a couple of times they breached that defense, but that was quick reaction there. Those super awareness by Enin to step out of his line and, you know, try to make himself so big for Ewula. That could be a huge chance missed for 11 Wonders.
Ewula wins the free kick for 11 Wonders. Tete quickly takes it onto the right side. Matthew Amponsa is up against Jamina. Now Yawano. Kofi Tompo turns around calmly and finds Yorson. Safer to Yawano on the left-hand side. Good pace by Ano. He's got Jumo to beat. Good defending by Kenneth Owusu-Boakye. Great awareness by the centre-back.
He does well. Just races together with Yawano. You talk about one of the fastest players in the league. Yawano certainly one of them, but so much determination in the defender.
Watson gives the ball away. Here is Jamna. Goes past his marker. Tries to set up Okra. Ball goes wide, and Okra still hangs on for Bechem United. Here is the goal scorer, Augustine Okra. Sends the Keller in, and Bechem United coming so close. Yorson unable to make the needed contact.
I think it's the closest they've come since scoring the first goal. And again, they need to make the job easier for the attackers. And Yano had to raise, you know, for a while before getting onto that. But again, no one pushing him. Just had to just time that header and just direct it on target. Just look at that. I think it was a golden opportunity to double the lead for Bechem United.
Muna dispossessed. Tompo. Yorson sees the movement of Ano. That's good defending from Jumo. Ano was a shot late, but Bechem United still hang on. Here is Safer. Richard Jamina hands possession to Wonders. Owusu-Boakye. Boateng. Here is Asamoah. Flag goes up because the ball had already traveled outside the line for a throw-in. We've done half an hour here at the Swedro Stadium. Already relegated 11 Wonders trail Bechem United by 1-0. Goal scored by Augustine Okra just after 1 minute.
And Emmanuel Edu, not a happy man now. Just believes they've done enough. They've done quite a lot, you know, to at least get on the board in this game.
Now Amponsa gets on the right side. Cross intercepted by a free for a Wonders corner.
Another purposeful ball. No, using the right-hand side of attack. If it's not the left-hand side where you find Kofi Asamoah, then there's the right-hand side where there's another speed star in Matthew Amponsa who's doing so much damage. And it was a very direct ball.
Desmond Champon to take the corner for Wonder. Swings one in and is straight to earning. No problems for the Bechem United goalkeeper.
That's not beating him. Again, you don't see the centre backs of Wonders trying to attack that one. You know, with some desperation and energy. It's not really there. You look at the height of that defensive line of Bechem United, and yeah, it looks certainly that they would be winning all those duels.
Bechem United are 13th on the league log, knowing too well a win here will keep their survival chances alive. They've won 10 times this season and played 7 drawn games, 11 defeats for them this term. 26 goals scored. That goal scored by Augustine Okra was the 26th time they were scoring in the Ghanaian Premier League, conceding 31. But they've not been good travellers, Bechem United. Their only win came against Samatex, and Atukba is offside.
And now I'm losing count of the offside calls in this particular game again. Yeah, last man, and you know, Wonders also resorted to the highlight now. They're trying to beat Bechem United at their own game already.
Bechem United have just 1 win in 13 away games. They've drawn twice and lost as many as 10 away games. The only victory came against Samatex at the Century Arena in Samraboy. Difficult grounds, they were able to pick maximum points and now are in the lead against Wonders in Swedro. Asamoah stays onside. Sends one for a Champon. A Champon cuts back, but there's nobody for 11 Wonders. They have a back button to Matthew Amponsa. Jemfi blocks the effort and is a corner for Wonders.
Yeah, you can smell a goal coming for 11 Wonders now. You can feel that they've really warmed themselves into the game and they're making the right decisions now, especially in the attacking third. And with the way they are taking on players now, then, you know, trying to beat the offside trap each and every time tells you that, you know, they just need one quality ball, one decisive ball, and they could grab the equalizer.
A Champon's corner. Again, it's straight to goalkeeper Enin. Nobody's attacking when those balls are floated in. It makes the goalkeeper pretty much comfortable dealing with it. But it's Bechem who turn defense into attack. It's Okra for Yorson. The two attackers combining really well. Yorson steps up for Okra. Okra tries to find Ano. Ano is right in the box, but he's unable to control first time. It is Yawano for Bechem United. Sends a cross. Cleared away by Owusu-Boakye. Here is Ewula to Aiden Kofi Asamoah. Regan finds support in goalkeeper Enin. Tompo. Atikba to Okran. Tompo. Dramina. Regan. A free hit to Seifa. Foster Jemfi for Bechem. Back to Emmanuel Seifa. Looking for the right opening, but not on the same page with Jemfi. Not a good ball from Seifa as well.
And some of those final balls from Bechem United really questionable. No, it's either it's a wayward pass or it's a bit of a hit. And this time, again, as a Tugba, who I doubt might be able to continue. This is the second time he's gone down in this game.
Discomfort for Bechem United's right back. Atugba. But can we talk about this chap? Atugba. Everything on the right-hand side of the Bechem United attack has happened with Atugba as the main architect. He's got to go off sadly due to injury. Coach Kobna Emisa will be forced to make a change, not because he wants to, but because his trusted right back is injured.
Yeah, he's not happy with that sub. There was so much energy from that right-hand side because one just couldn't find the right, answers to the questions being asked by Atugba. He had freedom to move it. He defended gallantly as well.
Amponsan is up against Dramina. Amponsan. Seifa trying to keep a close eye on him. Now Desmond Tete. Angele Wula. Edu Jumo switches to Asamoah, but he can't get to it. Throw in.
You talk about the faces of the game, and you would really appreciate the job of the coaches, from time to time. First 15, second 15, and I think entering the third 15, we've moved from the phase where you see both teams playing with a high line and being caught offside numerous times, and now it's been a battle of who has a better midfield, and that's what we're witnessing now. It's been very crowded in midfield, and it looks certain that that's the best conduit for both teams to attack.
Augustine Okra is aiming at Yawano. Yao flicks the ball over Jibril. He's got Jemfi stepping up on the left hand side. He finds Jemfi. He waits for Ano again, just on the edge of the box. Ano wants options now. Switches looking for Okra, headed away by a champon. And Okra certainly unhappy with that delivery. Now Asamoah would take the heat on Bechem United. He's pushed down by Richard Dramina. It's a free kick. Certainly a bookable offense. It's a yellow card. Flashed to Bechem United's Richard Dramina. Asamoah was on his bike.
Yeah, he was. And that's just some swift move from the winger. As blistering pace from the winger. He knows that's his quality. He knows that's what the advantage he has over the defender.
Bechem United coming up with double substitutions. Samuel Okai goes in for Godfred Yorson. Abdul Razak Al Hassan will go in for Samuel Atugba. Kobne Misa to first half substitutions for the visitors. Free kick to 11 Wonders. Desmond Champon, the left back. He's played 26 times for them this season. He bends one in. Chance for Wonders. Cleared by Dramina. Now a throw in for Wonders. It's 40 minutes at the Swedro Stadium. Here is Asamoah. It's Germany again with that clearance. Now Ewula. Well, 5 minutes before the break, the visitors from Bechem United leading 1-0 here at the Swedro Stadium. Here is Edu Jumo for the home side. Now Jibril. Boateng gives away possession easily to Seifa. Now he finds Okran. Augustin Okra to Emmanuel Seifa. Back to Augustin Okra, the goal scorer. Kofi Tompo. Edujumo's clearance. Ewula to Asamoah. Ainin is coming out, and Ainin is first to the ball. But the flag had already gone up from assistant referee Mary Tay. Confirmation of Richard Germanus' yellow card.
Again, yeah, back to playing the highlight again. Let's see, just 2 passes been put together already. How they tried to break that defense of Bechem United. You'd say, yeah, credit to Bechem United, they've not conceded, but you know, you talk about premium chances and wonders. They've had a couple of them. You know, they've come very close, even though they've also had a flag being, you know, raised whenever they've been on the attack.
So Regan has shifted to right back. Abdul Razak takes the central defensive position to partner Efrie, and Jemfi stays on his left back position. Personnel tweak, but no tactical tweak. Too much on it for a Champon as a goal kick.
It's been so easy for them whenever they move through, you know, the left-hand side of attack. 11-1, they've had space over there. You could see how Mohamed, you know, has combined with Amponsa on the left-hand side to make those incursions.
Good flick by Ano. First to Jemfi. Disappointing cross by Jemfi.
And that man, no, not so much content with what he's seen. And, you know, even though they are down, he still expects more from his boys each and every time, you know, they play. And you recall when they even drew 2-2 against Samatex after going 2 down, and it tells you the sort of mentality he's really planted into those boys. And you've heard those arguments that even if he had started the season with this team, perhaps they might not have gone down. And sometimes I'm forced to agree with that.
Germanato Regan. He wants to go all by himself. That's some bold move by Regan with a cutback, but nobody for Bechem United as Jibril clears the danger, not under any pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, but he wasn't taking chances as well, but that was a bold move there by Regan, and he's already enjoying his time at the right-hand side of the Bechem defense. And, you know, it's all about the space. He has so much space that it tells you how awful Wonders have been in defense, especially when you see Jemfi, the left fullback, you see Bois at Regain or bumping forward to add up something to the attack.
Here is Abdul Razak Larson. Regan with a cross in, headed by Okai, and it's gone out for a goal kick. That was some impressive play by Bechem United en route to finding their second, but Okai just unlucky.
Yeah, and his reaction tells it, but that was a lovely, delightful cross. And again, you're wondering how he missed that. All he had to do was to direct it on target. There was no way he would have saved that.
Fastabashos has taken out his yellow card and has flashed it to the newly introduced Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So yellow card for Al Hassan. 2 minutes of additional time has been indicated by Ritan Kansa Boateng, the fourth referee. Champon. Good play by Muna. Chance for 11 Wonders. Impressive, but off target. Desmond Champon stepping up for 11 Wonders. The fans are excited to see such a positive move by Wonders.
Yeah, right foot back. Just also bumping forward, trying to add up to the numbers, creating overloads there. It was a good hit. Lovely hit, but the exchanges between himself and the attacker, so delightful.
Regan. 2 innings, so that's confirmation of Abdul Razak Al Hassan's yellow card. He's barely been on the pitch for 10 minutes. He only came off to replace Atugba for Regan to be drifted to the right-hand side. Came on alongside Okai, who just switched on the pass looking for Okra. Flag has stayed down. Okra stays onside. Chance for Bechem United second. Okra, and he makes it 2-0 for Bechem United. His 13th goal of the season, Augustin Okra. He's really having his time in this Ghana Premier League. 2-0 just before the break. Bechem United have doubled their lead here at the Swedro Stadium. 2 goals from one man. As we head into the break, it's 11 Wonders 0, Bechem United 2.
It's the timing, a crucial time to score. It, he just does it all alone. But then again, so much space, acres of space. Tries to tee up Okrai. Ball gets back to him. He's onside. All he had to do was just to tuck that one out away for the second. We've spoken about the defense of Wonders. It's been shambolic from the first minute. And these are the games you really need to score lots of goals, especially if you want to win the top scorers award. But just look at that, so much space, no pressure on him whatsoever. The first ball doesn't go, the second one he says I'll do it myself, and he does it.
Okra's goal settles the scores for the first half here at the Swedro Stadium. Down and out, already relegated. 11 Wonders conceding 2 cheap goals to hand Bechem United the advantage at the break. Augustin Okra would not mind the manner in which these goals came. It's gone on to increase his tally overall to 13 so far this season. It's halftime here at the Swedro Sports Stadium. 11 Wonders 0. Bechem United 2.
First 45 minutes down here at the Swedro Sports Stadium, and Bechem are leading 11 Wonders by 2 goals to 0. Remember that 11 Wonders are the home side. I've been joined by the assistant coach of Bechem United, Seto Sawa. Coach, first 45 minutes, you are 2 goals to the good, but it looks like that early goal really settled nerves for you.
Yes, we are finding it very difficult to put some passes together. But once we are in 2 goals lead, we make sure we come back in the second half and add 2 more before the game closes.
Of course, and if you're talking about the 2 goals, one name pops up, Augustine Okra, coming up with the goals again, scoring his 12th goal of the season. He is proving to be, that genius for your team.
Yes, for him, he's always score. When you give him chance, he can bang in 2 or 3 goals. So I want him to get 1 or 2 goals to add up his goal tally.
Now you are halfway there, just 45 minutes separating you from getting the 3 points. What should you do, or what would the team have to do in the second half to ensure you clinch all 3 points?
Well, we make sure we talk to them so that they will add more intensity so that we can get the maximum 3 points, because we need the points more than they do.
Well, wish you the very best for the second 45-minute set. Also, why he is the assistant coach of Bechem United, saying that they need the points more than 11 Wonders. You're still watching the Ghana Premier League on TV3 and on UR TV. We take a quick breather. When we return, Nana Andy Sanderson will join me for the first half analysis. a Friday kind of entertainment here at the Suedo Sports Stadium. It's halftime between 11 Wonders, who are the home side. They have already been relegated, and they are coming up against Bechem United side, who are leading by 2 goals to 0. Courtesy 2 goals from the man who has enough or enormous experience in the Ghana Premier League, Augustine Okra. He has scored the 2 goals for Bechem. As it stands, Bechem United are moving away from the relegation. So my name is Mutala Yakubu, and this is the Ghana Premier League on TV3 and on your TV. Coach Andy Sinison is back here. Coach, first 45 minutes, it didn't take more than 10 minutes for Bechem United to open the scoring, and the lack of warm-up from 11 Wonders actually was showing in their game, especially the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. We talked about this earlier on because they didn't warm, and we were all saying if Bechem would take the game on them in the first 15 minutes, they should have a goal, and they had a goal. And from there, you could see that Wonders were warming themselves into the game, and Okra added another one to it. So, lack of how do we call the motivation that we talked about, both intrinsic and extrinsic, is what is killing 11 Wonders.
It was an intelligent flick from Augustine Okra, right from the corner kick. The ball eluded almost everyone. Then he intelligently poked it into the net. I mean, when I was sitting in the stands, some fans were talking about how intelligent Okra is.
He's an experienced player, and that's the reason why he goes and comes in as always, like he's been doing. And, you know, when he gets in front of goal, I told you earlier on, if he had 4 chances, definitely he would put 2 at the back of the net. So he has had about 2, and the 2 are all ending up in the net. So that is it.
It was an early goal considered by 11 Wonders. Then after 15 minutes, they started warming themselves into the game. I'm sitting there watching the game, scratching my head and asking questions. If they can play like this, why have they been relegated? Because it looks like they are dominating possession very well, but there's something lacking from the team.
That is how they play always. Anytime you watch them here, you fell in love with them because they can possess the ball very well. But when they get to the final tail, the moment that comes into the game, they don't use the moment because there are moments in the game. And when those moments come, you have to utilize it. But they always, you know, I don't know what to say. They play abysmal in front of goal.
Especially their left winger, Eden Kofi Asamoah. He's been brilliant in the game, but it looks like the final product, whenever he goes past his man and gets into the D, he doesn't really know what to do with the ball.
That is what they are lacking because Kofi plays very well on the left wing. He will dribble his way, but when he enters the final third, you could see that he can't even do anything with the ball. Then the ball will elude him, then he will come back again. He's a fantastic player, but I could see that he's lacking that experience that we are all talking about. He doesn't have that experience.
Is it down to coaching?
It's not about coaching, but he doesn't have the experience because maybe this will be his first season in playing in the Premiership. So if he plays 1 season, 2 seasons, but this one that he's playing, the next season you see him, maybe they will just take him off from Ghana and he will go and end up somewhere.
So just when 11 Wonders thought they were going into the break with at least 1 goal deficit, it became to Augustine Okra again. It looked like for that few minutes, time froze. Everyone was standing still, and Augustine Okra just had to poke the ball into an empty net.
You know, he outran all the defenders. The ball fell in front of him, and when Okra has 1-on-1 against a player, definitely he will do something with it. Fortunately, he hit the ball and it kicks somebody. So when the ball kicks the player, the ball came back to him.
Okay, he was trying to send in a cross. Then the ball, I mean, luck for the better of luck. The ball found its way back to Okra.
To him, and he just passed the ball to the net. And you can't do anything about it. People were complaining, but that is it.
It was such a bad goal to concede. Yeah. And it looks like these are the type of goals that 11 Wonders have been conceding all season. After doing all the good things, passing the ball around very well, then you go on to concede like this. Sometimes these are decisions that you cannot even blame the coach for.
No, you can't blame a coach for this because the defenders who were there were stood and they were caught ball watching. Because when the ball was coming into their goal post, everybody was trying to, you know, run away from the ball, and the ball came back to the one who passes the ball, and he had it, and he has to pass it.
Now, I spoke to Osei Waya, the assistant coach of Bechem United. He says that they need to come out and get at least 1 or 2 goals because they know that 11 Wonders will be chasing the game. Is that what Bechem needs to do, especially in the first 15 minutes?
I think Bechem it's not over until it's over. They needed to fight and get another goal, early goal, so that if they can, they will use the blocks and block the game. Then that will be enough for them. But if they say they are going to sit and watch 11 Wonders play, they can play some good football. If they don't take time, anything can happen.
Well, let's see what happens in the second 45 minutes. Players are walking back onto the pitch. Bechem United are leading 11 Wonders by 2-0. A win for them would actually be good, and it will move them away from the relegation zone. So let's hand you over back to our team of commentators, Nana Dakwa Jesse and Josiah Okokwe. See you after the second half.
In the heart of Ghana, a nation rich with natural resources and vibrant culture, lies the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, a beacon of excellence in the energy sector. For over 40 years since it
of surviving alive, knowing very well that they are up against a team who are already down and out of the Ghanaian Premiership. Arno flicks it, trying to find Jemfi. It goes out for a throw into Wonders. First throw in of the second half here. Bechem were clearly the dominant and the better of the two sides in the first half. 11 Wonders creating so much spaces behind for Bechem United to exploit. You're thinking, are they going to have a different approach in the second half, Josiah?
Yeah, perhaps they would want to take the game to the opponents. But if you're Kobne Ebisa, you will only ask for more from your boys. 2-0 after the first half, and certainly there could be still a lot more to score in this game, especially for Bechem United. Wonders themselves, they've not been bad, but looking at their state and nothing at stake for them in this game. They've not really shown that quality you'd want to see, but they could also maybe at least get a goal with how they've attacked so far in the game.
Emmanuel Seifa, well stopped by Jibril. Kenneth Owusu to goalkeeper Hadi Ajay. Edu Jumo. Desmond Champon. One of the brightest spots for Wonders in the first half. He puts one through for Ralph Muna. He's got so much space in front of him. Here is Muna, tracked by Alas, and Muna unable to score. Misses the ball by a whisker. That was a glorious opportunity missed by Ralph Muna. How could he have missed that one, Muna?
That's the $1 million question. How did he miss from there, from close range? Does all the job. And for the first time in the second half, they just breached that Bechem United defense with so much ease. The defense was expecting the flag to go up, but it just stayed down. And just look at that. Managed to put his body in between the defender and the ball, and just had to do it the easy way, Muna. He had to do was to slot it past the goalkeeper. A big chance got begging.
Ewula misses out against Jamina. Kofi Tompo. Augustin Okra loses out to Edu Jumo. Now a Champon gives the ball away. Indecision on the part of Desmond Champon. 11 Wonders trying to step up their game, but shot ideas when it matters most. Here is Okai. Safer to Okra. He's got Edu Jumo to beat. Augustin Okra. He's used Kofi Tompo on the right. Tompo sends across. Yeah, Ano heads it and is missed from close range. Big chance missed by Yawano to make it 3 for Bechem United.
You feel it could rain goals in this one another way. You could feel it. Already we've seen Muna miss a glorious chance, but this was also equally is a big chance that Yawano should be doing better from that close range. No, it was a good ball right onto where he wanted it. You know, and no questions about that delivery, but then everything wrong with a finishing from Yawano.
Could have been 3 for Bechem United, and it could have been 4 for Arnaud this season. He has been one of their best players. Yawano, 20 games, 3 goals, and is making his 33rd appearance since joining Bechem United this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been exceptional. That's what he brings to the table for Bechem United. You know, each and every season, you expect him, you count on him, you know, to be at his best, to help the club, and that's what he's done this season.
Augustin Okra to take the free kick. He swings one and is straight to Hardy AJ. A Champon tries to find Asamoah, but the flag has gone up. Assistant referee Alex Osam had the flag up long ago.
It seems we're back to playing the offside game again. You know, something we saw quite often in the first half, and you know, already we've seen it a couple of times already in the second half. Just 4 minutes or 5 minutes into the second half, and you can see that pacey attackers of Wonders trying to exploit the spaces. And what Bechem wouldn't change how they're playing. The highlight will still be there. It's an attacking setup certainly, so they would want to push for it, you know, and try and get more goals.
Jemfi goes past Jibril. He's got Okai. He picks out Okai. Lovely back heel from Okai. Here is Jemfi. Oh, on his weaker right foot, he's missed, but you give credit to Hardy for that save. Now Kofi Tompo lost to take matters up. Tompo! It goes just over the bar for a goal kick.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we don't see any more goals in this game. It's already looking end-to-end, you know, here, but that was a brilliant save by Hardy. Just went down, spaded the shot, and that's by far the best save I've seen in this game, you know, so far. And Hardy now keeping Wonders in the game.
Again, Alex Osam's flag has gone up for offside against Desmond Champon. Augustin Okra onto the path of Okai. He's got Kenneth Boachi to beat. Augustin Okra swings in across, cleared by Jibril. Now Captain Boateng finds Amponsan. Angel Ewula. Ralph Muna up against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Muna, lovely play from Muna. He's already missed a glorious chance and will want to make amends. Here is Muna. Still hangs on, swings in across. Nobody's connecting for Wonders. A Champon steps up. Here is the left back. A Champon bitten to it by Tompo. Okra will take over for Bechem United. Okai. There was a foul at the blind side of the referee. Arnaud caught late by Jibril. Referee didn't see Arnaud going down from that challenge by Jibril.
Oh, he did it.
Former Manchester City player Aminu Mohammed warming up for Bechem United. One who never lived to realize his full potential in Europe. Had to come back home to relaunch his career, but it's not been an easy ride for Aminu. In the meantime, there's a foul in favor of Wonders. Lovely run by Asamoah, brought down by Regan. Free kick Wonders. Regan will get the yellow. Yes, he does. Gets into the book of referee Foster Barshos.
There's a third yellow card for them. Alasan already on the yellow card. Puat Regan now playing as the makeshift right back also on the yellow card. And it's all due to, you know, the swiftness of the attackers and Ponsa, and then also Eden Kofi Asamoah. They've really caused so much problems to the laterals and then also the centre backs of Bechem United.
Amponsan has got 3 goals in 22 games. He scored against Vision Hohoi and also scored in that 2-0 win over Dreams. Ewula bends one and it's all 4. Disappointing goal kick.
And not the best of deliveries. And yeah, his team is actually questioning, you know, the execution over there. And you're wondering if he was trying to hit that one on target or finding a teammate.
Yawano, teasing cross. No troubling goalkeeper. Hardy Obemfui J. Asamoah has got a champon on his right side. A champon sends an early ball in for Stage J. Miss kick ending up as a corner to 11 Wonders.
There's been swift attacks from Wonders. It's one thing they've really done very well in this game, even though they've been second best in every department. At least the fast breaks, you know, have been very, very compelling from them.
Big chance again missed by Wonders. Credit to Emmanuel Enin.
And that's the reason why Coach Emmanuel Edu is fuming on the touchline. He still doesn't get why his team is not on the board this afternoon. They've created some big chances in this game. The first half we saw them. In the second half, right at the beginning of the second half, we saw Muna coming close, you know, to scoring again, and that was another big chance, you know, for the young lad to hit the back of the net. And they're certainly needed for the remainder of the season. You need to score goals. It boosts your confidence, gives you the right, you know, mentality headed into the remaining games as well.
Bechem United, before the season started, even in the middle of last season, lost a host of top stars, including Emmanuel Arnaud to Nations, Oseko 4, who have since moved to Eduana, also to Nations. Seth Kojose moved to Asante Kotoko alongside Francis Aqua and then Aziz Dari. They found it difficult to equally replace these charges. Part of the reasons they are struggling and battling relegation this term, Bechem United.
They've been a silent club. They've always sold their top players. You know, Clinton Dode, who actually scored Kony, Augustin Okra himself, he's been in and out a couple of times. But, you know, this time they were just not fortunate. And, you know, that relegation scare actually, you know, woke them from their slumber. And that was where they began to fight again for their lives.
During their first spell in the Ghanaian Premier League, Bechem United beat 11 Wonders in Bechem, and guess who scored? Prince Edu Kwabna, who currently plays for Victoria Pilsen in the Czech Republic. The Black Star striker was the goal scorer in their very first meeting when Bechem beat Wonders. This season, the first got promoted to the top flight. Jibril Amponsa beaten to it by Jamana. Lovely turn by Seifa. Good skill now. Okaim beaten to it by Edu Jumo. He actually played in that first ever meeting between these two sides. He finds Asamoah. He's got space. There was a push behind him, but he's kicked the ball out for a goal kick.
Again, another glorious chance, not being buried there. Enough time and space for Asamoah. Just uses that pace of his. Oh, trying to use it to his advantage again. A bit of a nudge, but yeah, I don't think there was enough in it. And no protest at all from Wonders as well.
Asamoah has 5 goals in 28 games. This is his 29th outing, one of the most consistent for 11 Wonders this season. He actually scored all 2 goals in that drawn game against Samatex at this venue. Here he comes, Asamoah. Raouf Muna. Desmond Champon. Emmanuel Boateng wants to shoot on his left foot, blocked by Abdul Razak. Lovely play from Jamina, calm and collected. Now Emmanuel Sefa. Okra is on the right. He hangs on and finds Okra. Tompo. Tete returns the ball to Hadi Ejay. Okine goes down. Yellow card for Kenneth Owusu-Boakye. Late challenge, clumsy tackle. You won't go unpunished. Good decision for Stabashos.
Yeah, and you always pay the price for being sloppy there. The pass not really going in well. Kind pounced on it. It was a very good first start to move away from the defender. But then Owusu-Boakye just goes down, clips him. Too many turnovers as well. 11 wonders.
Boakye has been consistent in defense for Wonders this time alongside Afura Poe and then Edu Jumo. Yellow card to the centre back. Wonders likely to be replaced by DBB United or Tamale City, who are currently preparing for that playoff to see who qualifies from Zone 1 to replace 11 Wonders in the Premier League next season.
It could be interesting.
Okra sets up Jamna. Back to Okra. Swings in across. Nobody's arriving for that connection as a goal kick.
Yeah, raises that left arm to apologize. And we've seen him with some quality deliveries. You know, both goals, yeah, one as a result of sheer luck. The other worked so hard for it. Tell you what, it looks like I've lost count of the number of offsides that has been awarded to both teams in this particular game. It's been quite a lot, and you know, it actually paints a vivid picture of the sort of, you know, system and tactics both coaches deployed today, especially, you know, with Kobna Misa instructing his fullbacks to push forward, and also the centre backs to add up to the numbers.
Okay. Okra. Safer. To regain. Now Jamina. To Al Hassan. Jamfi. Yawano. Kofi Tompo. Jamfi. Al Hassan. Comfortable in possession, but Bechem United at this point. The pressing player from Wonders, not enough to pressurize them in giving away possession. Here is Al Hassan. Step up from the bench and is already on a yellow card. But they've given away possession. Here is a chance for Wonders, but the flag goes up again. Interesting call.
The last time we saw Wonders in possession, it was a sloppy play. You know, but this time Bechem United, something unusual, you know, of them this particular game. We've not really seen them give away cheap possession in such a dangerous area.
Here is Augustin Okra. He scored twice already in this game. He finds Sefa. Amponsa can't go past Al Hassan. The gangling centre back, long legs, confident on the ball, difficult to go past. Yawano. Sloppy on the part of Ano. Tete. Boateng for Wonders. More agency in their play than they were in the first half. Again, the flag is up for offside.
I tell you what, you know, the linesmen actually are having a very tough day today. Looking at the pace, but I think he managed to stay on side a bit, even though it was very, very tight there.
Captain Emmanuel Boateng will make way for Mohamed Issa. Tokso Achu also coming for Amponsa. And Albert Frimpong will have his turn as well here in Swedro for Wonders. Mohamed Jibril's throw in. Mohamed Issa's flick on. Had the final touch off Al Hassan for a Wonders throw. After being forced to make 2 substitutions due to injury, this time Emisa would want to tactically do something regarding personnel and tactics. Might just respond to those switches by Edu. Jamna backheader to in. Jibril, Angel, Ewula, Mohamed Issa. Goes down, no foul, fair challenge according to the referee by Tompo. Okra's 2 goals separating Wonders and United after 65 minutes. Frimpong, Ewula, Desmond Tete gives away possession. Apologetic about it. Obviously, he should be doing better with that pass. Achu for Wonders. Mohamed Issa, chance for Asamoah, and Asamoah pulls one back for 11 Wonders. If it was going to be a goal for Wonders, it was always going to come from this chap, Aiden Kofi Asamoah. He's looked for this goal, and he rightly deserves to be on the score sheet. Aiden Kofi Asamoah, 6 goals for him this season.
That was the foul, the protest, but then poor reaction, and Kofi Asamoah manages to stay on side, but this time he's finding the back of the net. They've come so close, they've worked so hard. Yeah, they've not really been at their best, but you know they deserve this goal. They deserve to be on the board, and it was all that protest for the foul on Jamina wasn't given by Foster Bashios. That was a good ball, and it's quick reaction from your subs. That's why sometimes you need the fresh limbs, and you know Issa Mohammed making his presence felt just minutes after coming on.
Confirmation of goal scorer Aiden Kofi Asamoah. He's been the best player for 11 Wonders this afternoon. Kofi Tompo and Sefa out for Roscoe London and Isaiah Nyako, practically like for like by Kobna Emisa.
thinking that's the goal. That's just, it'll spark some life.
Another offside. It's been a permanent feature across the entire 67 minutes we've had so far here in Swedro. The flag going up.
It's nothing new now. Then, as the fans really enjoyed it now.
Okra would want to respond after Wonders put a goal back to halve the deficit. Roscoe London. Jemfi. Tete wins possession for Mohamed Jibril on the right-hand side for Wonders, but what a wayward clearance.
So awkward there.
Awkward.
By Mohamed Jibril. And again, no press, no pressure.
Here is Roscoe London. Wins a free kick for Bechem United.
You talk about one of the few players on the yellow card, and Angela Wooler has his name in there already in the referee's books, and he looks a bit hyped. No, he's been really hyped up for a normal time. We've not really seen the tricks, the flicks, and the passes from him though, but he's really been efficient in midfield.
Jemfi. Yawano. Now Isaiah Nyako makes it 3-1 for Bechem United. Just when Wonders thought they were coming back into the game, Bechem United have made it 3 here at 70 minutes at the Swedro Stadium.
Yeah, they keep making the work for Wonders a bit more difficult. Again, that's the price you pay for committing moment forward, thinking that he could get the equalizer there, but Isaiah Nyako with a beautiful first touch. But it's all the hard work by Ano from the left-hand side. Just tease up his teammate. It was a good ball. The first touch, and the second one was a shot that goes past Hadi Ajay. No chance for the goalkeeper at all. And no, we spoke about it, that this game has got goals in it, certainly, and I think we are not done. We could have a lot more in this game before the 90th minute.
Samoa. Angel Iwula. Tete. Jibril. Frimpong. Swings in across. Good catch by Enin.
Yeah, they're moving the ball smoothly, using those very, very short, quick passes. Not really been so expansive, but a good hit. For Bechem United, they'll be thinking that we just do not have to concede any more goals in this one.
Enin again reading the situation so well and gets the ball away with the big boot. Samoa with a lovely flick by Roscoe London is out there, cleared by Regan.
You know, despite the fact that they're still trailing by 2 goals, you can still talk about lots of positives from, you know, this Wonders team, especially with their energy levels. Yeah, we spoke about their rustiness, their jitteriness in the first half, but I think it's been an improved second half, you know, by Emmanuel Edu's boys, and I think they could certainly get a goal or 2 in this one.
Nothing is working for Wonders.
It doesn't, and you know, Emmanuel Edu's push out just tells you a whole lot. You know, after 74 minutes in this game, yeah, scored 1 to 1 point, which was a delightful goal. But yeah, we've spoken about it so many times that it's not really the 4 remaining games in the Premier League. It's about how they fare in the Division 1, how they can go back to Zone 2 or Zone 1B.
Good tackle, clever defending from Regan. Now Desmond Champon with a cross. Again, it's Ainin who arrives first with a fist to get the ball away for a corner.
A good awareness by the goalkeeper, Ainin, as well. He knows he just can collect that the first time of asking, just had to punch that one out.
A Champon's cross. Good clearance by Jemfi. A cut of an hour remaining here at the Swedro Stadium. Bechem United are cruising to a 3-1 victory here as they look to avoid relegation. But Wonders ain't giving up yet, already down and out. Now it's Champon. Swings in across, Ainin grabs family.
I think there's a player down, but again, going a bit expansive. And it is a left foot back. That's for the Champon again with space. Just hits one across into the box, and you're expecting to see the likes of Achu, the likes of Mohamed Issa attacking it. And the closest to the goalkeeper was actually Eden Kufia Samoa. It's been their bane. They flicked so well. You talk about one of the best teams, you know, in proper condition. You talk about player fitness and, you know, everything. I think Wonders, you know, certainly comes into mind whenever you talk about that. But, you know, there again, the mentality, the mental fortitude now has been the problem, especially after, you know, going down and their relegation status confirmed after that defeat against Midyama.
Roscoe London, Isaiah Nyako. Here is Dramina. Okai. Looking for Okra. Edu Jumo. Clever play from the experienced Edu Jumo.
Yeah, he was expecting the run, you know, from the left-hand side. It's something they've done throughout the game, you know, again. But at this point, 77 minutes, and certainly there could be some tired legs in there.
Here is Frimpong, looking for Achu. Ainin comes out. Achu goes past him with a pass. He still got the ball. And Achu tries to score by himself, and he's missed from that distance. Ainin has gone down. "11 Wonders just want to get something out of this game, but just not lucky with the chances that come in their way."
Not at all. And it was just the wrong decision. Whichever way you choose to look at it, just the wrong decision. He had a teammate asking for it. That was a Ponsa asking for it. And he decides to shoot that one at you. And that frustration, the reaction from Kofi Asamoah just tells enough. But, yeah, 3-1 is a lot of goals in this game. Yeah, it's a huge scoreline. But trust me, if both teams hadn't been so wasteful in front of goal, we should be looking at 7-3, 8-4 scoreline, ideally. And maybe XG-wise, no, it should be up there. Bechem United, they've come close. They've created tons of decent opportunities. Talk about Wonders themselves. Ralph Muna missing a couple of chances, and Ponsa missing a couple before getting his goal. You have the likes of Kofi Asamoah as well. So it's not really been a game where you'd say both teams have been so clinical.
In the Bechem United goalkeeper being treated after that earlier scare. Malam Yaya in the stands, the former Black Stars player, assistant at Bechem United. He also played for Borussia Dortmund, Malam Yaya. He was the teammate of current Mediama coach Ibrahim Tanko during their days at Dortmund in the Bundesliga. But that's the goal scored by Asamoah to have the deficit, only for Bechem to double the lead once again.
It was a good goal, but that was the moment Yano had so much space and no one training him. Just look at that. Uses his pace there with so much ease. Boache already on the yellow card, wouldn't commit. And Azanyako, just moments after coming on, just slotted this one past Hadi J.
$80 minutes on the clock. Bechem United leading the home side 11 Wonders saying Swedro by 3-1.
Really enjoyed his time, Isaiah Nyako.
Yeah,
really,
he's trying to have an
time.
influence in the game since coming off the bench.
And you can see that, you know, confidence. He's just oozing so much confidence after getting his name on the score sheet. And that's what sometimes all these players need. You know, just a goal and everything. Seem to be working again for them.
Nyako delivers, headed down by Jibril. Here is Mohamed Isa. Just runs into a free. Referee whistles, flag had gone up for Isa to be attended to.
Yeah, that should be the right call. It was a foul initially on Mohamed Isa, you know, being bumped into by Free. And that loose ball actually fell to a Wonders player in an offside position, but it was good call by referee Foster Bashios to, you know, come back and award a free kick to Wonders.
Angela Wooler. He's got Achu in the box, sends one, Enin comes out, punches it away, and it's found Jamina to Isaiah Nyako. Here's Roscoe London. Roscoe London had trials with Brentford in the Premier League last year, but was unsuccessful.
It would have been ironic, though, Roscoe London playing for a London club.
Nyako, Okai. It's up against Tete. That's some good defensive awareness by Tete.
He does well. Keeps his eyes on the ball. Never losing sight of all kind. Some textbook defended there by Tete.
So, Amin Mohammed will come in for Yao Ano. The big question is, will Aminu get to realize the dream of playing in top European football once again? Having been on the books of Manchester United, Manchester City a couple of years ago, he's got to prove himself wrong. Amin Mohammed, he was a teammate of Mohamed Kudus during their days at the Under-17 World Cup in Egypt, in India, under coach Pakwesi Fabian. Was bought with some big money from the West African Football Academy, but he never climbed to that height.
Yeah, and you could call, this move a rebet for him. It could mean a lot, and sometimes, yeah, you need to press the reset button. You go back, try to work things out again, and move straight to the top, and that's what perhaps this Bechem United platform could offer him. He's a fine player, very, very good player, has the talent, but sometimes you just do not understand how some of these things work, and just hoping that he could really find his form again.
He was loaned out on 2 occasions by Manchester City to Dordrecht and also Lomel, but failed to capitalize on all these loan deals. As a matter of fact, he was being scouted by Madrid and Bayern before City grabbed him.
He was a wonder kid. He was a kid with the world at his feet at that age, and certainly you had the biggest clubs in Europe or battling it out just to have him. And City fortunately landed him, but it's not the ending we were expected for the
Not at all. He equally has stints with NAC Breda in the Dutch Eredivisie. Referee whistles, decision goes against 11 Wonders. Goalkeeper Hardy Obinfue J raises questions about referee Foster Bashos' decision, but it will stand now.
It would, but not so clear if that would be an indirect free kick, because it's right in the box. Yeah, it is in the box. It is in the box. And it should be an indirect free kick, but there it is again. Goes down, tips it, and I don't know what the call is for, Joe, because it's the goalkeeper who comes up to tip it.
Not too sure about what necessitated this decision, but Bechem United will take advantage. It is Aminu Mohammed and Isaiah Nyako behind it. Aminu will fancy this one. Aminu with the killer rises above the goalpost for a goal kick.
Yeah, he would need that touch. He wouldn't score directly from that free kick. That was a good killer. Yeah, but a cute angle would really require a lot to score from there.
Frimpong, good save by Enin. Corner for Wonders.
That was a great hit. Well deserved. An equally great response from the goalkeeper. Does well, dive to it right hand side. Just applies it, that palm to it.
Ainin has stayed down after making that save. He had to stretch fully to get that one away.
Yeah, and that's his job. That's his job, to stretch.
Six corners for Wonders, one for Bechem in this second half has been the story regarding the attacking play of Wonders. Much improved than the first half.
Yeah, it's been a better second half for them, and at least to even get a goal in the second half tells you how hard they worked in the second half. They really did so well.
Corner taken, Ainin gets it away. Okai continues. Aminu to Okra. Bechem United will return to the Nana Fosuji Abo on Wednesday to play Dreams FC on that rescheduled matchday 30 fixture. We're into the final seconds of 90 minutes, and here comes JMP. Nobody's connecting from the left back's delivery.
Yeah, all kind there, right in the 6-yard box, waiting for a good ball. Just not what JMP gave him.
Bechem United are bossing the game in terms of possession, and they have 60% of total possession, and they lead by 3-1 as we approach 90 minutes. The big question is, can Wonders perform any magic to claw back 2 goals and win this game?
Highly impossible. And a game of football, there's nothing like impossible. Yeah, Hardy nearly making a mess of it. But well, you expect Bechem United to see through this game.
And there will be an interesting contest to look for this Wednesday. It's going to be something like a derby here in Swedro, because the real home side, Swedro All Blacks, will welcome 11 Wonders who have adopted these grounds. And it's a must-win game for All Blacks as they look forward to staying in the Premier League. They have a tough one against Vision tomorrow, and they will now think about that fixture against Wonders. Here is Augustine Okra. Now Jamina back to Okra. There's a good pass to Aminu. Aminu finding it difficult to go past Ewula. Nyakon. Jamin Fito. Regan. Jamina to Okra. He wants to shoot from that distance, and he does. And Hardy is not troubled by that distant effort from Okra.
Yeah, that would have been some goal, to grab a hat-trick in this game. He's really worked hard. He's been relentless. He's done everything right in attack for Bechem United. That was a very good hit. About 35 yards out.
Nyako wants to take up the initiative, goes all alone by himself. Amino. Roscoe London finds Okai. Can he get a fourth? It's a brilliant save by AJ.
That was a good save. Super save.
Frimpong swings in across. Flag goes up again for offside.
Oh, it's just some few minutes to the end of the game, and no wonders, just push it a bit, hoping at least they can just get a second in this one. They've really worked hard in offense today. But you give credit to Bechem United for the offside traps. They set throughout the game, nullifying that threatening attacks by Wonders. It's been a bit tactical in that regards.
Final whistle. Wonders have been beaten by Bechem United. It's over here, and Bechem United have their survival chances back on track. What this wins does for them is that they move to the 9th position of the league log on 40 points, hoping to get the maximum points against Dreams and return to Swedro next weekend in that real survival battle. 11 Wonders winger Aiden Kofi Asamoah bagging the only goal for Wonders, putting up a man of the match performance, but not enough to save his team from losing maximum points in a season they already know they've been relegated from the top flight. Full time at the Swedro Stadium. 11 Wonders 1, Bechem United 3.
Of course, things have ended here at the Swedru Sports Stadium. 3-1 in favor of Bechem United. They have beaten 11 Wonders, and 11 Wonders, as you know, have already been relegated. So this is actually a huge result for a team like Bechem United in the relegation dogfight. My name is Mutalaya Akubu, being joined by the head coach of 11 Wonders, Emmanuel Adai. Coach, another defeat on the road. But this is a game where you created loads of chances, but were unable to finish. Do you think that the inexperience of your team or the boys is the reason why you've gone down this season?
Yeah, seriously, it's very difficult for me to, I don't even know what to say because, like you just said, look at how many chances we created. If we have taken our chances, do you think the result it should have been otherwise? So I don't know.
Now you considered a very, very early goal. Do you think not warming up contributed to that?
Exactly so. I would say the first 2 goals was a result of we having enough time to warm up. We did not even have time, not enough. I shouldn't have said enough. We didn't have.
Of course.
We didn't warm up. So.
And I mean, there were phases in the game where you could have either, drawn level or even gone up. You created so many chances, possessed the ball very well. So what is really the problem with 11 Wonders?
Seriously, I need someone to tell me because as it stands right now in my position, it's just too much. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It has always been like that in most of our games. We create the chances, we are not able to finish, and then so.
Well, you have 4 games to go. How do you approach the last 4 games?
No, like I've always said, it's a competition, and once we are not done, we will continue working, until because this is not the end of our football career. So why would you understand me? Yes, it's a preparation for another chapter. Yeah. So that's exactly what we are doing now.
Now you have the Swedru fans coming to back you, coming to support you. Next Wednesday, that is a midweek fixture. You are playing them. What needs to change about your team?
Yeah, egal whether you backing us or once it's a competition, we will need to compete with you. If we beat you, so be it. If you also beat us, okay. So, but we're not going. I don't think there's any room for to compromise. No.
All right, coach. Thanks very much. That is the coach of 11 Wonders, Emmanuel Adai, there talking about the fact that he doesn't really know what the problem is with the team. They have lost again here this time to Bechem United, who were actually chasing the points. It's a big one for Bechem United because of their position where they are involved in the relegation dogfight. The likes of Young Apostles, Swedru All Blacks are fighting to dig themselves out of the danger. I've been joined by Kobna Emisa. Coach, first of all, congratulations to you for winning this one. That early goal, what magic did it do for you?
I was very happy when we scored the early goal. Sometimes early goal can unsettle the opponent. And so I was very happy about that goal.
Of course. Now, just before the halftime whistle, you got the second goal. Was that the sucker punch? Was that the goal that actually, did it for you?
Yeah, that's correct. But you see, sometimes players make coaches very hungry. Though you score, but you are not doing what actually as a footballer you're supposed to do. If you are winning 2-0, you have to be courageous to keep the ball for yourself. But you don't play the ball anyhow, and then they came back strongly and they nearly equalized the game.
How important is this 3 points for you? Because your next 2 weeks you'll be playing Swedru All Blacks here, who are also in the relegation zone.
Yeah, this points is very, very important to us. And luckily for us, we have won and we have got the point very well. But the problem is that we are still battling. It's not over until it's all over. And I would say I'm not all that impressed, especially in the first half. In the second half we played well, and that's what we are supposed to do in the first half. So what I can say to my players is that we have to back up because still it's not yet over. We are still fighting to make sure our home match next Wednesday will win so that we will be comfortable in the league. For now, still, people are going to play tomorrow. We don't know the outcome. So we are here to jubilate about this particular win.
Well, wish you all the best in your subsequent games. Kobina Emisa, head coach of Bechem United, they have won here by 3-1. Big result for them as far as the relegation fight is concerned. I've been joined by the most valuable player. It doesn't really often happen when a team loses and a player is voted the MVP. But Kofi Asamoah has joined me here. Kofi, and that game, no, my boy, but went to share problem. Nanka say free info.
Oh. First of all, I am Yasi. BBA said I am Yasi. The problem near final third. It drew boss anymore. How I bet you go no. Your problem my. And I see I say you're working on.
Yeah.
Now you to utilize your goals.
But Ujidi said Kamu teach man and I'm a bomb game Sanka. Mubet survive.
Oh true. And your fans now. I want to keep a boy and to me survive relegation. But I see that the idea.
Say aka 4 matches na mabo season every more players na the team na kasa relegation mabo players na the motivation and mamo performance say
see our team ne ko by players ne enkoy the betimi ani say enso ye be bona teams na hu ye na enso next season omo hu action wo Premier League nim bi
Kofi Edase, Kofi Asamoah, most valuable player in today's game there, even though his side lost by 3-1. It has been a difficult one for 11 Wonders, especially in the 2025-26 Ghana Premier League. They have gone down already together with Ho United, who have also withdrawn from the Ghana Premier League. So now we are talking about the third team that will join these two. Is it going to be Bechem, Chelsea, Young Apostles, Vision? All these clubs are still not completely out of the woods, but this is where we call it a wrap with our coverage here at the Swedro Sports Stadium. It has been an interesting one. My name is Mutalai Akuba. I was joined by Nana Sinison, Coach Nana Andy Sinison. You have to bring the Nana, it's very important. Thanks to our team of commentators, Nana Dakwa Jesse and Josiah Kokwe, and from the entire APO crew who are here to do the job. See you on Sunday as we go to the Takwa TNA Stadium. It's a big one. Mediema will be coming up against Gold Stars at 3 p.m. Bye for now.